In America, you're not punished for having been accused of something. In Texas, you are not punished for having been accused of something. Texas teachers are not punished for having been accused of something. Other school districts do not punish Joelle Ogletree for having been accused of something. Why does Glen ISD punish Joelle Ogletree for having been accused of something? Especially when it doesn't appear to punish others who have been accused of something, or even care to find out if others have been accused of something.
I would just say this, the degree at which I've investigated is this criminal history report, as it would be with any other substitute applicant. I review the criminal history. Based on this criminal history report is where I've made my non-approval.
Okay. But that criminal history report says that everything is dismissed. And we live in a country where you could have one 10 times that size, and if everything's dismissed and you're not proven guilty of anything, you're not found guilty of anything, then you are still considered innocent, and that's not supposed to be held against you. So I would think having them say dismissed, if you guys still want to say, wait a minute, yeah, they've been dismissed, but
does
we have
dismissed mean nothing happened, though? I don't know that that's the case.
Well, it does. And the law in our country, our nation is set up that it does mean you're innocent. So my feeling is that if the district is going to say, well, we don't think you are, then I would like to know which ones don't y'all think I am. I think that's only fair. That if the district's going to ignore that they were dismissed, ignore that PEA and SBEC, the governing agencies of the school district, know about each and every one of those allegations and still say I'm fit to be full-time in my own classroom, then I think that y'all, at least on me, owe me the knowledge of which ones y'all have a problem with and which ones you don't. Because the government...
I would have to answer your question today that I base my non-approval on all of them.
Okay, so...
in this criminal history report and the allegations leading up to all of these in this report.
Okay.
Would be my answer.
Okay. So your answer means that if you're accused, you're treated as guilty?
My answer means that a Title V offense on a criminal history report causes me concern.
Right.
And then I take that into consideration when I either approve for being added to the sub-list.
In the substitute hiring process, that when we get those criminal history back, if I would get any criminal history that had a offense, and I did explain this, a Title V type offense, which involves crimes with minor children, elderly, assault in that situation, and even if it was just an indictment and dismissed, I would still have concern enough in the initial process to not approve.
You've got that level of offense in your skill, and they come up and you see they've all been dismissed, and you said you note that and you consider that. In considering that, you say, oh, well, they existed. Why wouldn't you look into it and see a little bit more before you deny someone and treat them as though they're guilty when any evidence is to the contrary?
I'm not making judgment. I'm just saying that I have concern because of these offense, and I'm not recommending approval of the substitute status.
But what you're saying is because of these offenses, I can't substitute. Because of these accused offenses, that they exist. That they existed when I'm 93 years old. If you take my fingerprints, they're going to say the same thing. So for the rest of my life, these allegations were made. I have done everything in my power and will continue to do everything in my power.
And you have every right to do so.
To clear myself as much as possible. And about the only way I'm not cleared is this district's behavior towards me. Nobody else is treating me like I'm guilty. The state doesn't treat me like I'm guilty. But telling me that because these allegations were made, and you say you take into account, it causes you pause.
I'm saying that, here's what I'm saying, if I receive a criminal history, whether it's yours or anybody else's.
What would I have to do Because I didn't just, okay, give me a reprimand on my license or go ahead, put my license on probation. I fought so that I could be clear, 100% clear. I thought I'd continued to fight. I've been fighting for 7 years. What else can I do to ever be able to substitute here, knowing that this is always going to be here? My understanding, even if my record were expunged, if you're dealing with children, it still shows up. So if these are always going to be here, what can I do to ever be able to substitute in the school district? Are you saying?
Follow the procedures on the grievances to a higher level, if that's what you wish to do, and continue that process.
Okay. So there's nothing I can do if I apply, basically as long as I apply, your first step is always going to be until forever that you're going to see those charges and say, nope, you can't sub. Then it'll be up to somebody else to overrule you,
Yes.
no matter what I do. And is that?
I'm saying that's my decision. at
Okay.
this point.
That goes against what the children are taught in this school. That's a really scary statement right there, because anyone who has an accusation on an indictment, anybody who has an indictment, he's saying he would not approve. That's not what our justice system is set up for. That is not what any system in America and the state is set up for. That's not what the teaching system in Texas is set up for. You can have that allegation, you go through. If you're cleared, you're cleared. There's nothing you can do to make that go away. According to that scenario, I can be 100 years old and will never be allowed to substitute teach. That's not right.